asking again.
Show me your beat papers or you're going in the back.
I told you I am a federal prosecutor. My credentials are in my beat bag.
I don't give a beep who you say
Hands on
you
the
are.
vehicle now.
You are making a massive beep mistake. Look at the ID in my hand.
That's it.
October 14th, 9 a.m., Hennepin County Courthouse, Minneapolis. The silence in courtroom 4B is so thick, you can hear the rhythmic ticking of the wall clock and the faint hum of the ventilation system. Victoria Benjamin sits at the plaintiff's table, her spine a straight line of Texas resolve. She isn't wearing the yoga pants and light jacket from that day 6 months ago. Today, she's in a charcoal power suit, her Texas State bar pin glinting on her lapel like a warning beacon. To her left, her lead counsel, James Whitfield, leans back. To her right, the defense table is a sea of panicked whispers. 3 ICE agents, Dwight Palmer, Mark Kowalski, and Steve Briggs, sit in suits that look 2 sizes too small for their egos. They aren't looking at Victoria. They haven't looked at her once in 3 weeks. Judge Andrea Thornton takes the bench. The jury files in, their faces unreadable. Has the jury reached a verdict? The foreperson, a middle-aged teacher who has spent the last 5 days looking at photos of traumatized children, stands up. We have, Your Honor. Victoria closes her eyes. Her mind doesn't stay in the courtroom. It travels back to a sunny Saturday morning, back to a bag of Honeycrisp apples and the sound of her son's laughter, back to the moment the world broke. April 12th, 10:45 a.m. The Fresh Mart on Lindell Avenue. It is the kind of Minnesota spring morning that feels like a gift. The air is crisp, the sunlight is dancing off the chrome of shopping carts, and the smell of rotisserie chicken and floor wax wafts through the automatic doors. Victoria Benjamin is humming as she loads her rental SUV. She's in town visiting her 73-year-old mother, Dorothy. In the back seat, 8-year-old Alex is debating the merits of pepperoni versus cheese pizza. 6-year-old Jaime is already elbow-deep in a brown paper bag, fishing out a bright red apple. Mama, can I eat this now? Jaime asks, her voice small and hopeful. Wait until we get to Grandma's, baby, Victoria says, reaching for the last bag of groceries. She doesn't see the black, unmarked Ford Expedition pull up behind her. She doesn't notice the 3 men in tactical vests stepping out until the shadow of Agent Dwight Palmer falls across her trunk. Palmer is the first one in her space. He's tall, barrel-chested, with a buzz cut, and eyes that look at Victoria like she's a line item on a spreadsheet. His partners, Kowalski and Briggs, fan out. It's a tactical formation, the flanking maneuver used for high-risk apprehensions. Afternoon, Palmer says. His voice is flat, devoid of human warmth. Immigration and Customs Enforcement. We're conducting a compliance check in this sector. Need to see some identification and proof of legal status. Victoria feels the first spark of heat in her chest. She knows this dance. She's been a practicing attorney in Houston for 15 years. She's faced down aggressive prosecutors and hostile judges. She knows the law better than Palmer knows his own badge number. Good morning, officer, Victoria says. She keeps her movements slow. She keeps her hands visible on the rim of the trunk. I am a licensed attorney with the Texas State Bar. My name is Victoria Benjamin. My identification and bar card are in my wallet inside my purse on the passenger seat of that vehicle. She gestures toward the car. Palmer doesn't even look. He steps closer, invading her personal bubble of safety. I didn't ask what you do for a living, Palmer snaps. I asked for documentation. Now! You got papers on you or not? Beside her, Alex stops talking. He sees the hands of the agents hovering near their belts. He sees the scowls. He reaches out and grabs the hem of Victoria's light jacket. Jaime drops her apple. It hits the pavement with a dull thud, rolling under the car. I am a United States citizen, born in Houston, Victoria says, her voice dropping into a low, steady register, the one she uses when a witness is lying on the stand. You are conducting an investigative stop without reasonable suspicion. I have offered to provide my ID. It is 3 feet away from me. Step away from the vehicle, Kowalski barks from the passenger side. He's already looking through the windows, his face pressed against the glass, like he's hunting for contraband. Mama? Alex's voice is trembling now. Why are they being mean? It's okay, Alex. Stay right there, Victoria says, but her heart is beginning to hammer against her ribs. I said, step back! Palmer lunges forward. He doesn't wait for her to comply. He grabs Victoria's wrist, twisting it behind her back with a force that makes her shoulder pop. I am not resisting, Victoria shouts, projecting her voice so the bystanders, now stopping with their phones out, can hear her clearly. I am Victoria Benjamin, Texas Bar License 73492. I am being unlawfully detained. If you're ready to see institutional racism taken down, hit that like button and drop a comment telling me where you're watching from. And if this is your first time here, hit that subscribe button right now because you won't want to miss tomorrow's story of people messing with the wrong professional and finding out the hard way. The metal of the handcuffs is ice cold. It bites into Victoria's wrists, clicking 4 times. Too tight. Mama! No! Jaime is screaming now, a high-pitched, primal sound that tears through the Saturday morning peace. The 6-year-old tries to run toward her mother, but Agent Briggs steps in front of her, his hand on his holster. Stay back, kid, Briggs growls. Don't you touch my children, Victoria snarls, her composure finally fracturing. You have no cause, you have no warrant. Palmer ignores her. He's already dragging her toward the unmarked SUV. Behind them, a Fresh Mart employee, a young man in a green apron, runs out. Hey, what are you doing? She's just a customer. Get back, sir. Federal business, Kowalski yells. They shove Victoria into the back of the SUV. The door slams shut, muffling the sounds of her children's cries. Through the tinted glass, she sees the store employee kneeling on the pavement, putting his arms around Alex and Jamie. She sees her rental car left wide open, groceries sitting in the sun, her life's dignity discarded in a parking lot. As the SUV pulls away, Palmer and Kowalski climb into the front seats. They think the glass partition is soundproof. They think the woman in the back is just another unauthorized catch who doesn't speak the language of power. They are wrong. Victoria sits in the back, her wrists aching, and she begins to breathe. She closes her eyes and activates her attorney brain. She catalogs everything. Time, 10:53 a.m. Badge numbers, 47915238. Lack of Miranda. Lack of probable cause. Then she hears it. Kowalski chuckles, leaning back in the passenger seat. That's 3 this week from this zone, Dwight. Should put us over the quota for the month. Palmer grunts, checking his rearview mirror. Yeah, management's pushing these minority neighborhoods hard lately. Easy numbers. They never have the money to fight back. This one's got a mouth on her, though, Kowalski says. Talking about being a lawyer. They all say that. Or they say they're sovereign citizens. It's all the same script. Doesn't matter, Palmer replies. By the time her ID gets verified in the system, we've already logged the stop. Processing takes 4 hours minimum. My bonus doesn't care if she's a lawyer or a lion tamer. Victoria feels a cold, sharp clarity wash over her. It isn't just a mistake. It isn't just implicit bias. It's a business model, a quota system. She memorizes the exact inflection, the exact words. Easy numbers. My bonus doesn't care. Do you think federal agents should face automatic termination and personal liability when they're caught using quotas to target specific neighborhoods? This isn't just a mistake. It's a system. Drop a yes or no in the comments and tell me why. The processing facility is a low-slung concrete building 30 minutes north. It smells of industrial bleach and old sweat. They lead Victoria inside, still handcuffed. They take her mugshot. They take her fingerprints. Every time she asks for her phone call, every time she demands to see a supervisor, she is met with the same bureaucratic wall. In process, says a different agent, a woman named Phillips. All in due time. I am a member of the Texas Bar, Victoria says, her voice echoing in the sterile hallway. "You are currently incurring a liability of roughly $5,000 per minute. I suggest you call the State Bar of Texas and verify my status immediately." Agent Phillips doesn't even look up from her clipboard. "Everyone's a lawyer in here, honey. Sit down." They put her in an 8x10 holding cell. A metal bench. A humming fluorescent light, a clock on the wall. 12:15 p.m., 1:30 p.m., 2:45 p.m. Victoria doesn't cry. She doesn't pace. She sits on that metal bench with her back against the wall, and she builds her case. She mentally drafts the complaint. She cites Terry versus Ohio. She cites the Fourth Amendment. She thinks about her children. Every time her heart starts to break for Alex and Jamie, she converts that grief into a cold, hard stone of litigation. Finally, at 3:17 p.m., the door opens. Agent Phillips is standing there. She looks different now. Her face is pale. She's holding Victoria's Texas driver's license and her blue bar card like they're live grenades. "Ms. Benjamin?" Phillips's voice is shaky. "There's been a misunderstanding with the field agent's reporting." Victoria stands up. She's 3 inches shorter than Phillips, but she feels like a giant. "It wasn't a misunderstanding, Agent Phillips. It was a kidnapping under color of law. Where are my children?" "Your mother, Dorothy Benjamin, has picked them up from the police station near the Fresh Mart. They're safe. You're free to go." "No," Victoria says, her voice like a razor. "I'm not free to go. I'm leaving to go file a lawsuit. I want the names, badge numbers, and body camera footage of Agents Palmer, Kowalski, and Briggs. Now." "We can't just give you body cam footage." "Then I'll take it during discovery," Victoria says. "And I promise you, by the time I'm done, this facility will be under a federal consent decree." The reunion at her mother's house is devastating. When Victoria walks through the door, Alex and Jaime don't just run to her. They collapse. Jaime is sobbing so hard she can't catch her breath. Alex is quiet, his eyes wide and haunted, his trust in the world evaporated at age 8. Dorothy, a woman who lived through the Jim Crow era in Texas, stands in the kitchen. She's holding a glass of sweet tea, her hand trembling. "They put my baby in chains," Dorothy whispers, "in front of the babies." "I know, Mama," Victoria says, holding her children tight. "But they picked the wrong lawyer." 2 days later, Victoria is in the office of James Whitfield. Whitfield is a legend in civil rights circles. He's the man who dismantled the corrupt sheriff's department in Alabama 3 years ago. He reads Victoria's notes. He watches the bystander videos. There are 6 of them. One of the videos, filmed by a teenager near the carts, has already gone viral. It has 4 million views. The caption, "ICE arrests black mom in front of crying kids." But when Whitfield gets to the part about the quota conversation Victoria overheard in the SUV, he stops. He takes off his glasses and rubs the bridge of his nose. "You're sure? You heard Palmer say easy numbers?" "Word for word," Victoria says. "I memorized the timestamp. I recorded my own deposition on my phone the moment I got into the taxi leaving the facility." Whitfield smiles. It's not a kind smile. It's the smile of a shark that just smelled a gallon of blood. "Victoria, the government is going to offer you a settlement. They'll offer you 50,000, maybe 100, to sign an NDA and walk away. They'll call it an unfortunate procedural error." "I don't want their money, James," Victoria says. "I want their badges. I want the system exposed." "Then let's go to work." The lawsuit is filed 3 weeks later. Benjamin versus United States of America, et al. The Department of Justice tries to bury it. They move for summary judgment, claiming qualified immunity. They argue that the agents were acting in good faith based on intelligence regarding the area. But Victoria and Whitfield are relentless. During the discovery phase, they demand the internal performance metrics for the Minneapolis ICE field office. The government fights it for 4 months. They claim national security. They claim deliberative process privilege. Finally, Judge Thornton, a judge who has no patience for bureaucratic stonewalling, orders the documents released. The emails are a goldmine of corruption. Subject, Monthly metrics, Zone 4. From Supervisor Miller to Agents Palmer, Kowalski, Briggs. Numbers are down this quarter. We need to increase visibility in the Lindell Avenue corridor. Target demographics should be prioritized for compliance checks to ensure we hit our retention bonuses. There it was, in black and white. A direct directive to target people based on demographics to hit financial bonuses. The government's lead attorney calls Whitfield. We're authorized to offer $300,000. Full settlement. No admission of guilt. Confidentiality is a must. Victoria's response? Tell them to add 2 zeros and remove the silence, and I still wouldn't sign it. We're going to trial. The offer goes up to $1.2 million. Victoria doesn't even blink. My children wake up screaming at 3 a.m. because they think the men in the vests are coming back, she tells the media on the steps of the courthouse. There is no price tag on a child's sense of safety. There is only accountability. Back to the present. October 14th. Hennepin County Courthouse. The foreperson clears his throat. The room is so quiet Victoria can hear her own heartbeat. On the count of unlawful detention and false imprisonment, we find for the plaintiff, Victoria Benjamin. A collective gasp ripples through the gallery. On the count of Fourth Amendment violations and racial profiling, we find for the plaintiff. Victoria's hand finds Dorothy's under the table. On the count of intentional infliction of emotional distress, we find for the plaintiff. The foreperson takes a breath. Regarding damages, we award compensatory damages in the amount of $5.4 million for the psychological trauma and violation of civil rights. The defense attorney's jaw drops, but the foreperson isn't done. And for the systemic corruption revealed in the quota system and the egregious nature of the agent's conduct, we award punitive damages in the amount of $10 million, $15.4 million. The courtroom erupts. Dorothy bursts into tears. James Whitfield pumps his fist. But Victoria? Victoria just looks at Agent Palmer. Palmer looks like he's been struck by lightning. His easy numbers have just cost the taxpayers a fortune. His career is over. His partners are already being escorted out by court marshals. Their federal law enforcement certifications are being revoked as part of the judgment's findings. Victoria doesn't take the money and retire to a beach in Galveston. She uses the $4 million, to do exactly what she promised. She founds the Benjamin and Associates Center for Constitutional Justice. It's a law firm like no other. They don't charge their clients. They specialize exclusively in cases of racial profiling, unlawful detention, and police misconduct. She hires Jasmine Torres, a brilliant young law student who had reached out to her during the trial. She hires private investigators who used to be honest cops, people who know how to find the quota systems, hidden in the shadows of other departments. 6 years later, Victoria is standing in her new office in Houston. On the wall behind her is a framed photo of that day at the Fresh Mart. Not the arrest, but a photo Jamie drew in therapy months after. It shows a stick figure, Victoria holding a sword and a shield, standing in front of 2 small children. Alex is now 14, a straight-A student who wants to go to law school. Jaime is 12, a fierce debater who doesn't let anyone, not even her teachers, infringe on her rights. The Benjamin Act has been passed in 3 states, outlawing performance bonuses tied to detention numbers. Victoria looks out the window at the Houston skyline. Her phone rings. It's a woman from a small town in Arizona. She's crying. She says her husband was pulled over at a gas station by agents who refused to look at his passport. Victoria picks up her pen. She opens a fresh legal pad. "My name is Victoria Benjamin," she says, her voice steady and calm. "Tell me everything. We're going to take them apart. If this story moved you, smash that like button and share it with someone who needs to know that the law is a weapon for the people, not just for the powerful. Subscribe and hit the bell so you don't miss tomorrow's story of a retired general who taught a group of tough state troopers a lesson they'll never forget. Drop a comment below. What part of Victoria's journey hit you the hardest? I read every single one. Stay safe, stay curious, and I'll see you in the next one.